Alright, everybody, welcome to another week of Game Wisdom Live. This is for the week of November 10th, 2019. I am, of course, Josh Placer, and we have another discussions about game design and game industry topics. Joining me, my co-host, is indie game developer Shark. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am doing alright, busy as always. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same, busy as always. Getting some work done on Project Triad. Still having issues on the programming side, but I think I finally got the art side handled,
Great.
which is one more thing that I have to worry a lot less about. No, I still have to definitely worry about it, but it's just about 200 times less than what I did. Just a normal amount of worry.
And tomorrow, of course, is Veterans Day, so all the libraries are closing except for the one that I'm going to be speaking at. So that either means everybody's going to show up or nobody's going to show up for tomorrow.
Mm. Or it could end up just being the normal amount
Mm-hmm.
because, but that would be uncommon, but
Yeah.
it could be
Huh?
because everybody could be like, we didn't know every other, the people that all their libraries shut down, they'd just be like, we thought they were all shut down,
Yeah.
and the people that go to this particular library, I was like, yeah, I mean, this is always open on Veterans Day. This is normal for us,
Mm-hmm.
but more than likely, the other people will find out that it's there, and they'll all pile in, or nobody will figure out any library is open, and it'll just be dead.
Yeah. The one I went to last week, there was literally nobody in the entire library. It was a ghost town.
Mm. So you did a conference to yourself?
Pretty much. It was like that scene out of like Silent Hill or any horror movie when you walk in, the whole place is like abandoned. That's what it looked like.
Uh-oh.
I would still give the presentation, but then it turned out I had a really great conversation with the Uber driver about video games for the hour drive back. He got the talk for free.
Uh, was there actually anybody there? Like
No,
even one person?
no, the whole place was like empty except for like two librarians. Mm,
Ouch.
yeah. And they're like, we don't know why nobody's showing up. Well, that's great.
At least I hope you at least got paid for it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Oh boy. But speaking about people showing up, we just hit over 5,100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So thank you everybody for enjoying the content. And the long road to 10K, I guess, has officially begun.
Nice. I mean, you hit that extra 100 in what, 2, 3 days, 4 days?
It was like a week,
Was it a week?
something like that.
I don't
Yeah.
think it was that long, but that's pretty quick.
Yeah. People love those Neo videos. I guess the next step is I have to do one of those Naruto runs. Is that right?
Yeah, probably.
But I do have to get going around 6 today, so let's get to our topics because there hasn't been a lot of big or interesting game industry news to discuss, except for, of
No.
course, one thing.
Hmm.
And that is, of course, the release of Death Stranding,
Oh,
aka the FedEx Simulator, aka Kojimaception, and how it has basically dominated all news. Even before the game came out, people were arguing about reviews of it. And it's kind of our way of talking more about the impact of streaming and content creator culture, that's not easy to say really fast, on the game industry and game releases. And this is a topic that we've talked in and around about over the last few weeks. We did our topic about stream friendly games. But there, of course, is no. You cannot argue that content creators have been or have had a major impact on video games for good and for ill. So I have my own like multi segmented rant I can go on, but I'm going to toss it over to you, Shark, to get things started.
all right. So, content creators is a really tough subject because uh, where to start on this? I mean, so let's face at it from the direct developer view first. So oftentimes you have creators, as a developer, you want creators to play your game in theory. But I've run into a lot of them that will want you to give them a key and then want you to give them key for their closest 200 friends, and then they want to charge you X amount of dollars, which is generally more than what you can afford unless you're, Ubisoft or something. And it's like shooting yourself in the foot like 200 times and then paying money for it. That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, you get the exposure, but I mean, how much exposure are you going to get? Because, like, I mean, the people that are, asking for this kind of stuff often only have, 50K subs. I mean, and, a few hundred viewers, a few thousand views, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to sell what? Maybe, let's say it's 1,000 views. I mean, you're going to make what? 10 sales off of that, maybe. You get roughly one sell off of 100 views normally.
And so, Shark, you said the dread E word there too.
What's that?
Exposure.
I mean, but you think about it. I mean, it's like, yeah, we'll advertise to our 1,000 people, get you 10 sales, but it'll cost you 200 keys for our audience, which will absolutely, if any of the 10 people that were going to buy it get those 10, get one of those 200 keys, and you can shoot your 10 sales goodbye. Mm-hmm. And then, one key for them and, $1,000, $5,000, however much they want to charge you. And it's like, no.
Yeah. And it's tough all the way around because, again, like for somebody like me who does YouTube kind of like part/full time on top of everything else that I'm doing, YouTube itself is not a job. I don't think I would consider Twitch a job as well, unless you are playing a game professionally or, you're being contracted to make videos or content. You don't really have steady income with this. You rely on YouTube ad revenue, which, as anyone who does YouTube knows, that is pretty terrible right now. And it's one of those really tough cases where you're trying to keep yourself afloat, but if you try to get the money that you need, there's no way that's going to come in. And it's that case where there's a huge difference between people starting out versus those who are successful. Like, I've watched content creators of people who've been doing this for like 8-10 years plus, and a lot of their content is just pretty terrible. But they have that entrenched fan base, and that, the algorithm loves them because they've been around for so long. Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to get noticed, like from a developer standpoint, it's that you run into that case of who should I give a key to? Because you'll see people give keys to the more infamous YouTubers and streamers out there, and they'll either just do like a half-hearted video on it, or they'll, rip it apart, and that's all the information that you get. And I think that's... Oh, go ahead.
I had this one person request a key from me, I think it was on Keymailer, and I found a way to contact him, and I contacted him about it. And, he wanted a key on that day instead of like a week later or so when I finally found his contact information. And he was no longer interested in it. But it turned, then, he was going to take a key after that later. And I found out that the only purpose for him to get a key was just to make fun of the game. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no key for you.
Yeah. And we see that with a lot of like the big name YouTubers and content creators who cover like really weird, or when we did our last show about stream friendly games. Again, like I brought that show that's on Disney XD. What was it? Not Ready Player. Oh no. I can't think of the name of the show. But they basically get a lot of YouTubers, the big name ones or quote unquote big name ones, and it's just basically compilation footages of them playing weird random games. And it's the same kind of YouTuber bait that we see here. How many YouTuber reactions can we fit in a 5 minute segment?
Yeah. I had an issue with a drama YouTuber, and that's a whole another can of worms there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even want to get into that kind of thing.
That may be beyond the time that we have for tonight, though.
Yeah.
Now, here's a bit of a question I want to ask you, Shari, and I may be opening myself to getting a metaphorical punch here, but it's something that I'm curious about. Because we've had this discussion about kind of my overall reach with game wisdom, and we've all agreed that in terms of views, giving me a key for your game isn't going to be getting you, Markiplier, PewDiePie, whatever, or even like 3/4 less than that in terms of views. But when I talk about games, we've said that I tend to give it a little bit more value in terms of my videos. And I guess taking that a step further, I just want to ask you something. Do you think the podcast that we do with game developers, do you think that has any influence on marketing?
I honestly don't know. So what I would say is your normal creators, they don't have a strong connection to their audience. They don't. They don't. They have a paid only Discord. They have. They don't basically talk to a lot of people on their paid only Discord. They don't reply to their comments on YouTube. They don't do a lot of that stuff, and that causes a disconnection from their fans. So the fans are, they're less likely to listen to what you say, kind of thing. But where you're more connected and everything, and they trust your opinion more, kind of thing, because you've spent that time with them, and they know that you're trying to look out for them, kind of thing. On those cases, you get a higher percentage of conversion rate. Conversion is what we call it. That's an official term. To where a viewer or a wish list or whatever converts into a sell of the game. So the better connection you have, the better conversion rate that will result from yours. So like the more games you cover that you cover favorably, people know that you're as unbiased as you can be. I mean, nobody can be completely unbiased, but you're trying to take at it from a design stance and not and kind of put your opinion kind of a little bit here and there, but not directly in there, kind of thing. But people see that and they have a stronger connection, plus the Discord and everything, and you get a higher conversion rate. So the conversion rate is what developers want. They want sales for their video game. Giving a key out is just in order to try to get a conversion rate to happen. It just
facilitates that, yeah.
Yeah. So by, giving it to somebody who gets, let's face it, subs don't matter. Subs have no matter in this conversion rate or anything.
Yeah.
The conversion rate is your connection to your audience, and then your viewer base is not how many people are subbed to you, but how many people viewed that one particular video where you
and where the algorithm decides to put it too.
So based on the amount of views per video would depend on the rate at which your exposure is. Basically, if you make a video and that video gets 1,000 views and you have the normal exposure rate, that's roughly 10 sales. But if you make a video that has 100 views, but you have 10 times the connection, then you could also sell 10 games off of that.
And that's always that. And Algora was saying that in chat as well. It's that weird cyclical nature or spherical nature. I'm having trouble saying that word, but the idea, of course, is that as a content creator, you need a lot of subs to get noticed for the algorithm to like you. But at the end of the day, you need a lot of views for that. And in many ways, the only way you're going to get those subs to begin with is to get those views. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, and that's always, yeah, and that's again, we could have an entire conversation just about being on YouTube. That's another 2 hour discussion in of itself there.
Yeah, the way I see it with the subs and views is it's sort of like a credit
Mm-hmm.
because when you first turn 18 or whatever and you go out and try to get a credit card and they deny you because you ain't got no credit, and all these cards they deny you because you ain't got no
Yep.
credit, but you can't get any credit unless one of them approves you, and
It,
you go all these different places, and then eventually
mm-hmm.
somehow magically one sends you a credit card that's already ready to go, and then you get it, and then your credit is started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a very good point what Gloria just said, because I would like to say that I think one of the things I try to focus on is the game wisdom as a brand. Because we do the streams, we do the dev pieces, but obviously there's a lot of people who only focus on one or the other. Like when we do Darkest Dungeon streams, the Neo videos, for instance, there are people who only show up for that, and those I don't think we would consider them to be, fans of the brand. They're kind of fans of the game itself. And you get that with any kind of content. You mentioned Fortnite. You get 100,000 people just watching that easily, right?
Well, now you need to put the hashtag so 100,000 people can come in here because you just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it.
Yeah. And I guess this is another really tough point. Getting back to the main part about this, that obviously when a developer gives a key to a game, most of them will think that it's just going to be pure publicity. Again, you give a key to Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, you name it, you have a general idea of what that kind of content is going to be. But there are content creators such as myself. I know there's a lot of there are smaller ones who tend to focus more on the design or the critique of things. I think was it a rant signal. I think is another one that does very meaty philosophical videos as well. That giving a key to people like us, I don't think that is for. I don't think that's really helping in terms of market. I think it's helping more on the developer side. But again, how many developers want to get help with their games like that?
Yeah, I mean, something that's been told to me, and I've learned it the hard way, and that's developers do not buy other developer games generally. I
Mm,
mean, it's not a 100% true because I mean, game developers are gamers too, and they do play games, but game developers are busy making their games, and most game developers don't have very much time to play games. So yeah, I mean, if your game really, really stands out, really, really stands out, maybe they'll buy it. But generally, game developers, as a general rule, game developers will not buy your game. So marketing your game to game developers is not a good idea.
mm-hmm. Yep. And again, with the kind of content that's going out, everyone is trying to do the very similar things. Again, how many gaming YouTubers all make the same kind of videos about the same kind of games on a day-to-day basis? And for a developer out there, it really becomes, shooting in the dark in terms of not only who's going to cover your game, but what kind of coverage are they going to give. Because you could get your key, you could be one of those lucky developers who gets, 30, 40 different YouTubers who will cover your game, but if all of them can't figure your game out, or they're just like, this game is stupid, I give up, did that really help you at all?
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, out of all the YouTubers and everything I got contacted with, none of which that I contacted through YouTube or email ever responded to me. The only ones that I got in touch with were uh, friends of friends, basically,
Mm-hmm.
or friends that knew the content creators, or through Discord directly, or that's pretty much the only way I've got any of the ones that actually covered me to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of the ones that covered me, one was a good friend, and he did a complete let's play.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's super small. He's way smaller than you are, Josh. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're I, you're probably about 10, 50 times bigger than he is. And then you had one that just wanted the game to make a bunch of drama,
Mm-hmm.
and you had one. There was two that were live streams. Both of them really enjoyed the game. Supposedly, they had the YouTuber reaction kind of going on,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they actually enjoyed it because they were giving, commenting on stuff and saying stuff they liked about the game. So, I don't think it was completely fake. They're like, and then the other one, and this was the big one that I was really counting on because out of everybody that they actually did do it, didn't have any viewers. Basically, they were all really small. The one that actually did have a size, I think he was like 300K subs or something like that. I don't know what his view numbers were. They were pretty decent. And he didn't hate the game or anything. He just thought the game was forgettable and that it didn't stand out in any kind of way. And he said he so wanted to rag on the game, but he couldn't because he couldn't find any flaws. So basically, he's saying it's a perfect game, but he doesn't like it,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And he gave a really meh opinion to it, and
Mm-hmm.
like if you're really into this kind of thing, check it out. But otherwise, just forget it. This thing's not memorable.
And again, there's only a discussion again about the actual content creators and their knowledge and skill on game design, but that's its own topic as well. But
Mm-hmm.
for developers out there, it has become a major point about how much of an impact these people have when it comes to your success with your game. Because we've heard all these talks about how a lot of consumers don't like regular reviews anymore, and even how a lot of websites these days do focus on video based reviews and video based content. And it has caused a lot of developers to kind of be, I think, caught off guard in terms of that. Like, if you're trying to make a video game, your first one, you don't know anything about YouTube or Twitch, then you are just, 20 steps behind everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. It's I mean, marketing in general, you're 20 steps behind because
Mm-hmm.
just exposure and getting everything right and uh, whatnot is just so hard, and it's something I am still very much working on myself.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of games, I think being designed around content creators, yeah. Well, and that goes back to what we were saying earlier, Mojo, about how much clout and sub slash credit really means to YouTube and to these places. Because when we look at big name streamers and YouTubers, again, you're not really watching them for an expert's advice. You're watching them more on the famous or the creator side, and it's unfortunately is a harsh truth like that you're not really getting a lot out of them other than the name. And that's where publishers and marketers will go first. Do you give it to somebody who is knowledgeable, who but may say it's okay, or do you give it to someone who can guarantee that 2 million eyes will watch it, good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, marketing wise, you give it to the one that will get the eyes on there because that's what's important marketing wise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sad that it's like that because I mean,
Yep.
You know, if only you had 2 million subs, that would
Hmm.
solve all our issues.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely solve a lot here. I get all those T-shirts and hats printed up. We'll make a fortune off of them.
The Safely Extreme T-shirts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yep.
still got to do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know how many people will buy it, but we can try something.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, this is that kind of issue because you see, again, like it's that same kind of circular path that a lot of these YouTubers take. They get big doing some kind of drama, then they just make a bunch of like very safe videos, and then they'll of course do like 27 sponsored videos on games. Or my favorite, this is the thing that just drives me crazy, is that you'll have a YouTuber get started on a topic, and before they even get one word into that topic, exactly, and well, there's the next step, Shark. We need to get into a boxing fight.
oh
MMA, how about we do some of that? I'm
yeah,
sure everybody would pay to see that.
Sharky versus Josh
Hmm. And
MMA
but
style.
and then back to the topic, and then they'll before they even get one word in that topic, they have a 2 minute long sponsored piece about a game that they probably never even played to begin with before they even get to that topic just to pad out that video.
Yeah, and the thing is a lot of them will say they play it, and they may have a count on that game,
Hmm.
but they don't play that game.
Yeah.
There is astronomical odds that they actually play that game. I mean,
Hmm.
they play that game. They have a count in that game just to say that they play it.
And don't forget that for a lot of the free to play games, those accounts were usually stacked with premium currency or in game advantages, just so that person has a far easier and not as real time with it.
Yeah, and if even if they do play it, it's probably just for a day. Just to be like, hey, I
Hmm.
played the game that one day that the sponsorship ran.
Yeah.
Everybody can see me, in the game
Here's my
playing.
YouTuber reaction or Twitch reaction.
Yeah,
Hmm. And it is tough like that for trying to get. Again, this is one of those topics that we gotta be really careful because we'll be here till like 10 o'clock at night with various tangents on it. But it has become very big business for everyone involved. And for a developer, I think a really good point. And again, I do have to get going in an hour and 10. If not, we'll be, like I said, we could be here till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then we'll just go right into Sly Cooper. We'll just transition right from talking to that. But the idea of, as a developer, what you can do, or can you do anything to get eyes on your games from a popular content creator? Because the thing that I've always seen, and again, as somebody who has a YouTube channel, I of course get random emails from developers. Not as much as probably the big name ones, but I do get them usually every few days. And what you can put in that email is very important because different people, I think, value different aspects. Like, there are those who they'll just send nothing but pictures over. I have no idea what this game is about. Other people will send over, a 10 to 15 paragraph, short story about this game's development. And it's kind of tricky to know how do you pitch a game to somebody like that. Not only like a popular game, a roguelike, a platformer, but what about something like a tactical strategy game or a city builder or something that is considered quote unquote niche these days?
well, I'm no expert in the subject because I completely failed at that. But things I have learned after I failed, and stuff I learned before I failed, I will share those things. Um, Number one, you need to keep your first email pretty short, no more than 2 paragraphs. If
Mm-hmm.
you can get it done in one paragraph, do it. Make it as short as possible. Number two is make sure your game is visually appealing and that you send them
Mm-hmm.
a link to your store page or some uploaded photos or whatever, preferably a trailer too,
Mm-hmm.
and have just a lot of visually. pleasing stuff for them to see before you send that email. Preferably, it would be all on like a Steam page or whatever, or an Epic Games page or whatever storefront,
Yeah.
and you just send them the link. And I've heard some people tell me that you should send a key when you first do it, and other people told me to not send a key.
Yeah, I think that's a very tricky point because again, I've had discussions like that with developers where they'll send me a description, then they'll say, "Well, do you want to get paid for it?" And then when I say, "Sure, I would like to get paid for it," like, "No, that's too much money, even if it's $10." And then it's that very weird situation of, well, do I take the key for free now after we just had that whole discussion, or do I just let the game go?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, they they the developers should not be asking how much it'll cost if they're interested in doing it for free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're expecting to pay for it, that's when they should ask how much it should cost. I mean, they should not be asking how much it costs if they're wanting it for free. They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Can you cover this game?" Not "Can you cover this game for X amount of money?"
Yeah.
I mean, you should only be offering money if you have some to offer.
Yeah. And for a lot of developers who do send me a press key in that first email, most of the time I will cover that, especially with the indie game spotlights we're doing once a month. That is just an endless pool of games to spotlight there. But again, like you said, it's a very weird situation that you can't say we're going to give you money or we're willing to pay you for your coverage, and then say, "Oh wait, you wanted money? Well, we don't have any money for that."
Yeah, I mean, you should, if you're not addressing it with, if you don't have money, I would not put anything about money in your thing.
Yeah.
I would just see what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's that.
this is a too big of a topic to get into.
Yeah.
But it ties into the YouTubers games about knowledge of it on game dev, and we'll save that for a later topic. But
Put
I
that
want to
on
hit on
the
this one.
note page.
Yeah, I already got it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put in this one point here is I had this one person, YouTuber, that I contacted, one to check out my game and see if they liked it. I was, this was on Project Triad. I was like, we can come and try out the game. You can see if you like it or not. We don't want you to stream it or anything yet. None of that kind of thing. We just want to see if you like it and any kind of feedback you have on it, if any. And this girl comes back to me and says, "I will check out your game for 1 hour, and I will play it. I will write a 2-page report on it, and then I will submit that to you, and you will pay me $5,000."
What?
I was like, and then I look at all of her videos, and like, there is like, throughout all of her videos, like, there is, as far as I can see, no knowledge about anything in game development in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I could pay, somebody, some random stranger off the street that's never played a video game, and probably get a better 2-page report out of them for $5,000.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oof.
why?
Here's the question for me: what does the 2-page report actually impact if you're a YouTuber and you're known for video-based content?
Yeah, that's the feedback, supposedly.
Oof.
It's a two-page of feedback. It's
And
like,
she
no,
guaranteed 2 pages without even playing the game. That's
Yeah.
like reading that's like asking someone to write a 10-page report on something before they've even looked at it.
Yeah, I'll give you a random topic. You got to write 2
I
pages.
really, 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 really like this part. But going back to what I was just saying regarding asking a price and all that, this is like one of the basic marketing or one like the basic negotiating tips I remember reading about, that you never want to be the first person to throw out a price. But of course, it is a very tough thing to do in a lot of cases. Even when I do my library presentations, I'm usually one to throw out a price, but I say that that's negotiable. And I think that's another really big thing you have to say. But like we said, if you're going to offer something, you have to make sure that you can call their bluff on it, or you're going to be in really big trouble. Hi, Aiden. Eh,
Yeah, and they absolutely do not need to mention money unless they have some to pay out. I mean, if you have money to pay out,
then say it. But
well, maybe even hold off on it and
see
you
what
know,
they think.
yeah, and then see if they put out an offer or something like that. Because I mean, they may be willing to cover for free. Who knows?
I
Because some YouTubers want to charge a lot of money to play your game. Some just want to play your game because it looks fun.
yeah,
You need to.
right here.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah. And again, like the whole idea of YouTube as a business, Twitch as a business, that way beyond what we can talk about in our piece today. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else before we move on. I guess while I'm trying to think of a thing to wrap up with, do you have anything else regarding content creators and game design?
Well, you need to, in general, I think you need to target content creators that you're going to ask to play your game. Don't just ask random people. I would
Mm-hmm.
uh, target people that would imply a higher transfer rate or a higher conversion rate to your game. And I don't mean just conversion rate based on their connection to their audience. I mean that's definitely important, but I mean you can't really search videos and find out that kind of information very easily.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to get involved with the community first and see
Yeah.
if that's a thing. And if you're doing marketing and you need hundreds or thousands of YouTubers to contact, I mean that's not going to happen. That's not feasible. So what I mean by conversion rate in general is they play stuff that is similar to your game. So if you made, let's say, a tactical RPG like our last game, we targeted people who were playing RPGs on YouTube, playing tactical RPGs,
Yeah.
playing specific games like Disgaea and Fire Emblem and stuff like that. And anybody who was roundabout, like their content covers this kind of thing, this is a good person
Mm-hmm.
to go after. And you also, if you're doing it for promotion, which you probably are, you want to target people who have 100 views per video or more, which sadly Josh isn't there yet. Well, I think he gets there on some videos, but not all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's generally the targeting area. Of course, you give your game to Josh for a different reason,
Yeah.
and he
To
also
break
doesn't
it,
want to charge you
to break the game and find all the bugs, right?
and find the game design mechanics. That's the main reason.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking them down. But
And
you have such a high connection with your audience. I mean, you're like in a weight class above your view numbers. So
mm-hmm. Yep. But I think that is a very important point. I think that's one that we can probably wrap up the section with. That at the end of the day, it is more beneficial from a developer standpoint not to make sure somebody like Markiplier or PewDiePie or Ninja plays your game, but have somebody who knows that genre play your game. And there are people out there, whether they have 100 subs, 100,000 subs, or anywhere in between, there are people who have dedicated fan base. Again, like my market is definitely design overall, but we can certainly square that down into roguelikes, platformers, action-based games. Although that doesn't explain why I got a press key for House Party, though. Can anyone explain that one to me? Or Super
nope.
Seducer?
Well, I meant Drakon because I explained that one.
Yeah, but then we may get demonetized for that explanation.
Probably. There is one other thing I want to say is out of out of the YouTubers, I was told not to go after YouTubers that have more than 200K subs
Mm.
because unless you're lucky or know somebody, there's no way they're going to cover your game. That's just, just throwing away a key or throwing away, effort put towards contacting those people.
Mm.
And another thing is, don't do a massive email that just like everybody can see that you mailed everybody.
Yeah. Blind CC is your friend.
Mm-hmm. And even I would discourage against that. I would encourage as many separate emails
Mm.
written differently, specialized on that kind of creator and their content. Like
Yeah.
if you can show that you actually watch their content or at least watched one video and you have any kind of means on what they do, like any of their catchphrases or anything like that, that's a good thing to put in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But again, I royally failed at the task, so definitely do not take my advice for 100%. It's just a rough guide to get you started, kind of thing, and you can go out there and learn more from other people who have actually been successful at that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And again, you don't want your email to sound like the same thing. Hello, blank. You are my favorite developer. Could you give me 100 keys for blank here? I will
Mm-hmm.
play it and get you coverage and lots of exposure. And as we
Yeah,
said before, the E word shall not always cause us trouble when you say it.
yeah. There's another point which is too big to get into, but I'll just mention it briefly. The as a content creator, as a game developer rather, you get emails from YouTubers, and in my experience, I haven't had a whole mess ton of emails. I've only
Mm-hmm.
had probably about 200 of them, and out of those 200, 90, I think 199 of them were scams. They were saying they were some
Oh,
popular YouTuber. They were not. There
that.
was only one, and they weren't even saying they were a YouTuber. They were just somebody who was interested in getting the game, and
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have the game had already been removed from Steam at that point, and they couldn't buy it anymore. That was the only legit kind of thing that I got in that email, besides just spam from people who were trying to put stuff advertise
Mm-hmm.
put stuff in get you to sign up for stuff basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that again is another really big topic. And
Mm-hmm.
again, very quick points for developers watching. Always check the channel. You want to make sure that channel has either content or content related to what your game is. If they send you an email, check to make sure that email is the same email on their contact page. And worst comes to worst, or if you really want to be 100% sure, use the email on the contact page to ask the developer if that's them or not. And because,
Yeah,
like you said, Char, there are a lot of developers who've been scammed that way.
yeah. And there's most of the time you can figure out if it's a scam before you even have to go to that point. So do your due diligence and research first, and then if it still looks real after that point, then contact them through the email that is listed on their YouTube account. Do not click a link in your email because
Mm-hmm.
that can they can spoof that to look like the actual content creator's mail, but it's not. It's actually going to their mail.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So create a new mail, copy and paste what's on their YouTube site or Twitch page or whatever they are, and then contact them directly that way and ask them if
Mm-hmm.
they are wanting to cover the game.
Yep. And again, I could easily segue into talking about a G2A, key sellers, and other stuff we do not have the time to get to tonight.
Well, we've also covered those already
Yep. But
as videos.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to end this section on with, and I can't think of anything right now. Maybe something will come later, but again, it's a very weird thing these days about how much content creators do have sway over audiences. We could probably talk, like, this could be its own topic. What happens when you get targeted by a content creator? But I think, again, like that, we may need like a little bit more in terms of knowledge on that.
By targeting, you mean targeted for drama or?
Drama, or if you have, someone like the usual suspects do a hit piece on your game or something along those lines.
I think that falls under the
Yeah.
YouTuber drama topic that we have.
Okay. But
We only had 4 topics during this one topic.
of course we did.
Further expanding on it.
All right. But let's see what games are coming out, and then we'll get to our final topic for the night. So let me pull things up here really fast. Where are you? And we'll see. Speaking about weird indie games, or about getting indie game coverage, let's see what's coming out. There we go. Spellinkers. Is this a puzzle game? Let's see. Well, it's an indie and a casual genre.
Oh snap!
Turn-based strategy with tower defense, RPG, and luck. What the heck's a luck game? That just seems like my antithesis right there.
Loot boxes, maybe.
Okay.
It sounds like they were just. It's just from the sound is it just sounds like they were just throwing a whole bunch of genres together.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a Downwell ripoff a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know that game, but it does look very familiar kind of game.
Hmm. Well, this is not a good start. Girls Battleground. I thought that was out already. Mog? I was not expecting that from that name.
Muga.
Wait, the game is an introduction to a VR version? What?
Yeah, that UI would be great in VR.
Wait, I love this. All the feedbacks will eventually help us understand the taste of the gamers. There you go. Shark, you should get on that. You're a shark. You enjoy tasty things, right? You can taste the gamers.
I can taste the gamers. It's like Taste the Rainbow, but taste the gamers.
Mm-hmm. Times Squared? What?
At least it's not time cubed.
Mm.
This looks just that first screenshot makes this look like a generic FPS with just a weird name to it.
Yeah, I was not expecting. Wait a minute. Hold on. Why is the genre action adventure and not first person shooter?
Because you have the action and adventure of shooting a gun.
Frequency Garden.
I mean, shooting a gun requires action. It's a
A,
bolt action, you know.
a casual cinematic visual audio experience, but I don't see anything about gameplay.
There's probably not any.
Yeah, probably not. Picross IO. I do like Picross. Just looks like a basic Picross game. Okay. There's that Romancing Saga. Oh yeah, we looked at that last week. Angry Zombies. That's good.
Which game is purely audio Draken?
Frequency Guard. Oh, he's almost something else. Yeah, there was a few games like that. That's just all audio. I can't remember them off the top of my head though. Belly Dance Girl.
So we've had our programmer games, and we've had our artist games. Now we have our musicians games.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I got a key for Gun Crazy? When did I get that?
I don't know. Maybe you gone crazy.
I hope I remember to add that to the indie spotlight list too.
If you didn't, you might have gone crazy.
Oh, and there's a Legend of Bombo. I'm sure that's a game we won't play at all on stream.
I've never heard of it. Never heard of the guy that made it. You haven't either, have you?
No, I know Mojo hasn't. Village Monsters. Oh yeah, we looked at that one again. Again, that thumbnail is very misleading.
Yeah,
Jigsaw
it is.
Women.
Jigsaw women?
Guess women are just puzzles.
I'll never figure that one out.
Alright. My gut is telling me this is going to be a match 3 game. Am I right? Ooh. Wait a minute.
That is definitely not a match 3 game.
This is just a rip-off of the Trials of Hercules game.
Uh-huh. And apparently it's made by Platinum Games.
Hmm.
That's not a good sign.
Hold Your Ground.
Who, Mojo? I don't know who you're talking about.
Virtual reality archer defense game, okay?
Yeah,
I want to taste some feedback, though.
They
Last Neighbor.
need lots of taste of.
What
Oh, I
the?
bet you this is a Hello Neighbor fan
Yes.
ripoff kind of thing.
Oh, man. Hello Neighbor was popular to get people to copy it?
Oh yeah, yeah. YouTube covered the heck out of it.
Hmm.
It was one of those YouTuber popular games that not only did like tons of people play it, but there was tons of people making game theories on it.
Ugh. Mm. There's another rant about game theory.
Yeah,
This one I'm not sure of. Like, some of the aesthetics look really nice. It's kind of like that papercraft kind of look to it. But the
yeah.
UI is not doing it any favors.
It's not a bad UI. It's just
Very.
not a visually appealing and maybe a working one. I mean,
It's like a working class UI.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it does have some stylization to it. A lot
Mm-hmm.
more than my last game, but my last game also had color on its UI. Not that my UI was all that good either in the first place, but
mm-hmm. Hmm.
it wasn't just a dull gray or whatever color you would call that.
Yeah.
Stone color.
Huh. I don't know. I think I'll have to wait and see what happens with that one.
Maybe request a key and just see how it is.
Hmm. Ooh.
If you get it, anyway. Hero
Idol
Masters.
Battler. I like that thumbnail of the guy playing the game.
Mm.
Is
Oh,
it
that's
an
a
indie
bad
tag?
sign.
Yes, it is.
Oh, snap.
Alright, we'll see. There's a game coming out on the 15th that I definitely want to show here because I'm actually curious about it. I think it'll probably show up on the next page or two. Command Truck Life.
Truck life. Is that about an isekai truck?
Well, you're driving a truck.
To go isekai people?
Mm-hmm. Oh, thousands of kilometers.
Oh, snap. That's a long distance. Wonder if there's anything to do along that way.
Some distant memory. Story-heavy exploration game. The Sunken City of Houston?
There's some visual appeal in that.
So many feelings. Well, the other game made us taste game, whereas this one's giving us feelings.
Is it making you taste feelings?
Mm-mm. How about smell colors?
Oh, I love smelling colors. They're so beautiful.
I'm not seeing anything gameplay-wise. I think it's just like a adventure-style game. Princess Hit. I'm kind of afraid to click on that one.
Yeah.
Infinite.
What about the landlord girls?
Yeah. There's Sparklight, which I got a press key for. I can't look at it until the 12th. 12th's going to be very busy in terms of games. They're making another Deadliest Catch video game?
Mm.
Short, scary stories. I think we looked at that one already. Dominance. Spire of Sorcery. What is this?
Battle Survive.
Oh, well, that's some interesting names behind it. Ador Genesis was a really popular turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, I've heard of them before.
And
But I don't
Gremlins
know much
Inc., I
about them.
remember.
Don't know them.
My only problem, I'm not seeing actual gameplay. Wait. An original strategy survival game with indirect control. So it's like a Dwarf Fortress sim?
Maybe.
I mean,
Look at a
like,
few screenshots.
here's like the fun thing. Like, this is a good compare and contrast to the last game. That RPG one. Like, this UI, you can tell they put some thought into it. Like, it looks like it's built within the theme and aesthetic of the world.
Yeah, it still has those bland colors, but it has like all kinds of highlights and stuff to it, and shapes and whatnot. Looks really elegant. A lot better than anything I've ever made.
Alright. What was the other one you said? Battle Oh, no, we're not clicking on that. No matter how much Draken wants me to, right?
Yeah.
Top-down multiplayer shooter. Bee Simulator.
It's the bee's knees.
There's no... But you're not gathering honey. You're racing and fighting. And dancing.
Oh, this is Superman.
The
Look at that gameplay. This is the Superman game that everybody hated.
What? Please tell me this is VR too.
Oh, jeez.
But there's no genre. How will I know what kind of game this is?
It's probably AAA genre. Because it's not indie, it must be AAA. Oh,
And this is the...
side, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a game I know Thorn and I are kind of interested in looking at. I mean, I gotta say, those graphics look really damn good for an RTS. Now, whether or not that damn Monk Rush strategy is still in there remains to be seen.
I can't really tell a lot from the stream, but it does look pretty nice from what I can see.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I'm going to get a key for it, but I'm going to put one in just for the heck of it. I did get turned down for 2 games this week. That's a record.
usually they don't turn people down for keys. I'm like one of the only people that do that.
Outer Wilds and Planet Zoo. Beautiful Elves. Project Cappuccino.
Project where you make... Is that a Starbucks simulator?
Maybe Starbucks and dating.
Oh, snap.
Unnamed VR.
Oh, it's a new Starbucks game, to go with the KFC one.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the KFC one, you remember how I was joking about the
Oh, no.
we were going to have a McDonald's Five Nights at Freddy's?
Mm.
It actually existed
No.
like 3 years before I said anything about it.
You could have sued them for stealing your idea. So this is the game I was talking about. I was interested to see. This is a 3D platformer where the entire world is using a yarn aesthetic.
So kind of like Yoshi, Yoshi's Yarn game. I can't. Do you remember the name of that one?
Woolly World, I think.
Yeah. Yoshi's Woolly World.
So I mean, this one I'm really interested in because it's a 3D platformer. And we don't really get too many of those these days. I'm pretty sure this was a kickstarted game too. And it's an indie tag. Wait, why does it have a platformer genre? Oh yeah,
because it's
Unravel too. Yeah.
indie genre is the only genre you need.
Mm-hmm. I am really terrified to click on this one.
Yeah.
Armor. Wait, I think I got a key for this one. Oh yeah,
No,
that's
it's
one I need to
interesting.
check out for next month's spotlight.
What was
Uh,
that one you had the key for? I'd like to see that one.
Little Dungeon
The
Stories.
Armor Tail.
Pixel art roguelike card-based game inspired by adventure. Hmm. Well, we'll see how that one does on our next spotlight. Terminator. There's a
That's the
Terminator.
Armor Tail.
What?
That was the Armor Tail one.
No, that was Little Dungeon Stories. I just looked
Oh,
at.
I thought you said it was the Armor Tail that you had a
No.
key for. Oh, what's the Armor Tail then?
Let's see. Up-tempo action platformer. Two prison escape demon baby foxes. A not so typical witch. What the heck does that mean?
And they're not so typical. They're just sort of slightly typical.
What? Switch armor. What?
It's all about the nuance in how typical the the witch is.
The backgrounds aren't bad, but the character designs look like very basic, like early NES graphics.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Kind
Hmm.
of makes me think that they used some assets in there somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they were just trying to hold to a style, but then got rid of it at some point. Maybe they made the mistake of doing their most important character, the main character first,
Mm-hmm.
and then worked their way down after that, and they got better art as they went along, and they didn't go back and redo
Mm-hmm.
the
Alright, we'll see. Mini Island. Nope, we're not clicking on that one or that one. Oh no. Red Evil. Oh yeah, let's click on this one. That won't cause me any trouble. Alright, what is Red
Wait,
Evil?
it's the opposite of blue sadness. You gotta smell the colors.
What the hell is this? What? Okay. I'm still not sure what this game is getting at. I think it's just it's like third person fight or exploration. The Yellow Ladder. Wait, the game's called Hunted Gods, but the thumbnail says Giant Slayers.
We're getting a color theme here. I mean, have
Yeah.
you smelled that yellow ladder yet?
Eh. Oh, good. Here's like a very good collection of games right here.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Hop's Playhouse. Oh, how
Gotta
to become
love
a
that
ninja.
the climbers one.
Yeah, that one. I'm not saying that one. Mailbox.
How to become a ninja.
Part 1.
Part one.
You're going to need at least 5 parts, I think, to get to the real ninja. The
Yeah.
Corner Saga.
Question is, which ninja are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about
Uh,
mythological ninjas or content creator ninjas?
let's see, what's the... Looks kind of interesting. But it looks like one of those puzzle games that just is... Here's a cool idea, and here's 100 levels of that cool idea.
Yeah, it does look that way.
Mm.
Don't know if it is that way, but it looks that way.
What the heck? Could
It's
help
in your
on...
shopping cart, Dracon. Just click purchase. You'll be fine, Dracon.
Hmm. I love that character, the character animations or the character art here. Do you like that UI up there?
Oh, this game is gold. It's set up for all kinds of YouTuber reactions. Like you should get it and practice your YouTube reactions.
Mm-hmm. Triumph. Okay, they didn't separate the letters there. Age of Wonders. Oh, they're getting expansion. New Warhammer game. Both. Okay. Football Manager. Is this supposed to be a Mega Man rip? Ooh.
Well, put a high quality in your cart there, Draken. It's not my fault that you put a low quality one in your cart.
I think
What
somebody
the?
played a little too much Mega Man.
Or maybe a little too little because they only did 4 enemies instead of not 8.
Why is that called an Usher bot when it looks more like a Pope bot? Or a Cardinal?
Yeah.
Hmm. Again, like this is one of the problems. This really turns out from a lot of indie games when it looks worse than the games they're trying to emulate from 20 years ago.
Hmm. They only had to wait 20 years to
Mm-hmm.
get a downgrade.
Forbidden Love with the Ghost Girl. I'm pretty sure we're not clicking on that one.
I'm pretty sure that's a visual novel.
Mm-hmm. Unlock the King. Hmm. Chess puzzles. Again, not bad. But when we did that discussion about when I talked with William Cheer from Manifold Garden, that I think puzzle games need to step things up a little bit. Like you can't just release here's 500 levels, do them all one after another, and people are going to play that, even though it leads to fatigue.
Hmm.
All right, this is the last page, and then we'll get to our final topic. Hidden World of Art. Let's see what you got. Oh, Hentai Sniper.
Oh, get a snipe.
Marisa's Marvelous Magic Shop. Not
Question
quite.
is can you go no scope in that game?
Oh. 141?
That's a very extremely extreme name.
Mm-hmm. Huh? I like the weapon
Transforming guns.
modifying, but it looks like just a very, very generic shooter.
Yeah, with a transforming gun.
Mm-hmm.
Transforming gun makes it all different, right?
Mm.
It's nothing like any other first-person shooter because it's got a transforming gun.
What the hell? Deck
The big,
building roguelite card game with RPG elements and colorful family-friendly setting. A forest full of human-like animals. What? What's like the
I'll
secret
play
of
my
Nim?
I'll play my squirrel and I'll attack with 5 nuts.
Wait. Wait, is that beaver holding a butcher cleaver and beer? Was he like drunkenly trying to kill us?
Probably.
He's got the dead eyes staring at us.
I think I might need to get drunk to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be hilarious. It'd probably be one of the funniest games you ever played if you're drunk.
Maybe you can say about almost any video game.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, what do you think? Should I put in for a key for this one?
Put in a key. Just if they give it to you, we can see what level of craziness this is. I mean, it may be a legit game,
Mm-hmm. And then this is the game
but
that El Gordo was telling about. It's finally coming out. 2D roguelike action shooter.
that's visually appealing right there.
Neon and synth. Synth punk, I'm sorry. We need more games that combine synth. Can we get a synth visual novel game?
Have you gone to the dark side, Josh?
Ear candy? Oh, good. Well, we'll see. Developer like my thing on Twitter. We'll see if they'll give me a key. But let's get to our final topic, and we'll spend about 30 minutes on that, give or take. But this is one that Shark brought up, and it's about the use of rev share, revenue share, when you're running a studio as an indie developer. And this is one of those topics that I'm not as versed in because it is more on the development side than it is on design. But it is something that I think is very fascinating. So, what we mean by rev share is that typically when you work at a company, you get paid by an hourly wage, $15 an hour, $12 an hour, anything like that. But for a lot of indie companies and kind of startups, they'll go for revenue share, where you get a split at depending upon what that company makes. If they make $50,000, you'll get a share of that. If they make $100,000, and the whole idea is that if everyone does their best job and this product does well, everybody will be rich. And for a lot of the cases, it normally doesn't fall along those lines. And since Shark is the one who brought this one up, I'm going to turn it over to you and what you think about RevShare.
All right, so rev share isn't 100% bad. It's just 99.9% bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my company, Nexus Game, started out as a rev share, so and we are one of the few that actually became a success in completing a game success. Um, so, and we became that success basically pretty much right after we ended the rev share. So the issue with rev shares is you get a bunch of people, more people than what will test your game coming in, and they will say they will work on your game for free.
Mm-hmm.
And most 2 months later, you say you got brought in 200 people. 2 months later, maybe one or two of them have done one or two very minor things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. You may have done a whole crap ton of things, but they aren't going to do anything, pretty much. And you cycle through people, you get another 200 people in, another 200 people in, another 200 people in, and you just basically make it nowhere. I mean, there is times where one person will come in and they'll contribute a lot to it, but the issue is you don't have everybody else contributing a lot as well, and it'll get to a point where that person can't contribute anymore. You can't contribute more unless you get other people that can contribute, that will actually contribute. But finding those people is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yep.
Actually, finding a needle in a haystack would probably be easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through, I don't know, 3,000 people, and I mean, most of those being artists, mind you, and we ended up with one person did one image, another person who is a personal friend of mine, which I brought in specially, he did like 10 images or so, mostly just concepts, rough concepts. And another person did like 6 really good polished things. And I was like, yes, we're on track. And then, they left. And the programmer left and got a new one and a new one, and it just never worked out. And eventually I got to the point where I got an artist that stayed for a while, and he was helping with art. And during that time, I was like, well, screw it. I'll just do the programming. I suck at it, but I'll do it. And we were making Project Aliens, which is a tower defense kind of game where there was no set path. It was you make your own path by here's a map. you can build walls, you can build your towers, you can build all this other stuff and build your own thing. And then like even if you seal off a complete path, that's not going to stop you from getting attacked because the enemies could destroy the walls as well as your towers. But we made it so far in that, and then like we ran into some kind of hurdle. I can't remember what it was that we could not pass. I think it was that artist that stuck with us for so long, left us. Yeah, that's what it was. And eventually, during that time, during the last, I think like year that he was with me, or maybe even 6 months or so, I had met Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I hadn't met Monkey before that, but I had found out that Monkey actually knew how to program, and we did a game jam together with me, Monkey, and that other artist, Caved Ins, and we were good there. And then he left, and uh, a musician friend from way back came in, Carlos, and he helped us a bit. And then he left, and then I was like, you know what, Monkey, let's just make a game. Let's stop this rev share stuff. Let's make a game that just you and I can make.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Carlos will come back and help us with music. Maybe he won't, and we'll find some assets or whatever and figure that out. And Carmesia was made. The second we ended the rev share is the
Mm-hmm.
second we started on the path to success,
Yeah.
basically.
And that's always that tough thing for a lot of people getting started. That you can have a lot of people work with you on faith and on good faith that they're going to get paid, but when you're not paying somebody to do a job, you have no leg to stand on if they don't do that work. You are entirely basically at their mercy as to whether or not they're going to do work for you. Like I tried making a game with like two other people once, and the programmers spent like 2 months, and in that time, all he got was a character who could walk left, right, and jump. That's what he did
Mm-hmm.
in 2 months of his time trying to work on this game. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, you can't. Like, if we were being paid to do that, then yeah, like, if he did that in 2 months, he would be fired immediately. But you don't have that kind of standpoint, and it's tough because a lot of people, as I'm sure Shark is well aware of, and I'm sure any developers watching this are, most developers starting out don't have money to pay for hourly wages for all the people working on the game.
Mm-hmm. And see, after we ended the rev share, Monkey and I worked on the game as a team
Mm-hmm.
to build the game. I mean, neither one of us were getting paid. We were doing it as partners, kind of thing. And it's not rev share or anything. We just want to build the company, and we don't care about getting paid. I mean, we do care about getting paid eventually, but we don't care about getting paid right
Mm-hmm.
now. We care about just building the company.
Mm-hmm.
So we both said, unless the game makes a butt ton of money, we're just going to not get paid at all, and we're just going to make the best game we can, just between the two of us, instead of doing a rev share. And I've had, now that Monkey has left me,
Mm-hmm.
for hopefully temporary, I've had brought in other programmers that are not on that same deal, but on a similar deal. They're the one that I have right now. He just wanted to get experience in the industry. He was fine for
Mm-hmm.
working for free. He's fine for not getting paid. And my rule on that kind of thing is, okay, I'm not going to be super demanding with him. He works at his own pace. He gets whatever he can get done, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, if he's still with us when we get to the end, and the game makes money, I'm going to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
There's no promise for pay or anything like that. The promise is to get him experience and whatnot, but I have promised myself that I'm going to pay him
Yeah.
because I just can't let somebody work for free. Now, I've hired an artist, and because we have to have absolutely critical art
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely critical, and can't really find one of those for free. At least not in my experience.
Yeah.
That is good. So I have found one that will work for really cheap, which really cheap is still a lot of money. And, you know, with the promise that if the game succeeds to a certain point, that I will give him a bonus at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, if yeah, I really hope the game succeeds. I have a lot of money writing on it. I have time writing on it. You know, it may be our last game if it doesn't succeed. So yeah, I'm all about getting it to succeed. And if it does succeed to enough point where I can actually pay him
Mm-hmm.
more, then I want to pay him more because again, you know, I'm pretty much underpaying him.
Yeah.
But there are ways to do this that
Mm-hmm.
require less money, not no money, but less money.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, very important whenever you do this kind of work, you need to get it in a contract just to cover everybody's bases like that.
Yeah, I mean there's what's called a default contract,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically a no contract contract. And basically, what the no contract contract says is whatever you agree to pay them, whatever they agree to do, that thing is, you know, upon uh, you have to pay them no matter what, even if they don't actually
Mm-hmm.
do the thing. Um, well, I mean, if they completely don't do the thing, that's a different thing. But like if they don't um, if they do stuff, if they actually do work and they don't give it to you, you still have to pay them, and then you have to sue them to get your money
Mm-hmm.
back, basically.
Yeah.
But you know, if they just do nothing, you don't have to pay them. But
Yeah. And again, there's a lot that we can segue. This is one of those topics I can segue into a lot of stuff because we've seen cases of ownership of content get really taken all over the place when a game does well or does poorly. If you remember that DSP game that we were talking about, and
yeah,
the artist. Oh, thank you, Vikings. Will be your what is it, ASMR, whatever it is. You can fall asleep to our voices. But again, like there are very sticky situations like that in terms of who owns something, in terms of transfer of rights.
yeah, and it's actually that the Star Major DSP
Mm-hmm.
where I actually learned a lot of this stuff because I was
Yeah.
personally involved in that whole crap show of a drama.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the you know there's nothing that we can prove, but you know the musician that was in that was definitely claiming a lot of things and whatnot, and it's clear that that was not 100% true, but from the stuff I've gotten in this information that I probably can't talk too much about,
Mm-hmm.
they did actually do the work and they were actually legitimately owed a lot of money, but not as much money as they claimed. You know, it's like one of those things where, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they're owed like $10,000. And it's like, this trouble ain't worth $10,000. I'm going to say it's $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't want to pay, kind of thing. And then they, but she went about things in a wrong way and made her the internet number one enemy. And after that point, the guy that didn't want to pay her, the developer
Mm-hmm.
that was ripping her off of all this money, this $10,000 or whatever, however much it was.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact amount, but I know it was less than what she was claiming.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that ripped her off on that automatically became the good guy because she made herself the
Mm-hmm.
internet's enemy by DMCAing everybody
Oh yes.
falsely. And by that point, there was no way to actually get him to pay other than forcing him to reveal his financial records, which he wouldn't do on his own, obviously, because
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those marketing people that has all the backward speech. why did your game, why did you not like this one thing? Well, there's this thing, and then there's this other thing, and he'll go on for an hour
Mm-hmm.
on the other thing and just completely dodge a question, but it seems like he
Yeah.
answered it, and he's really good at that. And
Mm.
there was no getting, financial records out of him, legitimate
Yeah.
financial records, and the only way to get them would be if you uh, started a lawsuit and had I forget what it's called, discovery, and then he would have to reveal them. And if he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
reveal them, then he could have hit them, burned them, whatever. Then he would be in trouble for that, and they would just assume that the worst kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but to get to that point, you had to have enough people you had to have enough people, legit other people, because it wasn't just that musician, it was several people that got screwed over by that guy
Yeah.
on that same game. And they were just, they had enough of it, they didn't want to deal with him anymore. They were better, they felt it was better off letting things drop, being screwed out of their money and all their, rather than
Yep.
go to court over this stuff, even if they only had to be there one time, because it was just a whole bunch of hassle, and
Legal
he
fees and
created
all
all
that.
kinds of drama and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. So they didn't want to go, so it didn't ever go. Nothing was ever
Mm-hmm.
exposed. So the truth is still technically hidden out there, even though I know bits and pieces of it, and that's how it
Mm-hmm.
looked.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's what all the bits and pieces of evidence I see say, that he screwed over all those developers. But point is that you need to you need to follow through with whatever you want to say you're going to do.
Yeah.
If you say you're going to pay somebody for doing a job, pay somebody for doing that job. If you say that you need somebody to work for you for free, and that you can maybe pay them if the game succeeds,
Yeah.
if they're alright with that, do that. Rev shares generally don't work, but the I work for it's not work for exposure, but work for experience, the other E word, or work for whatever thing they want to work for. I mean, if they want to do it, if they're willing to do it, then
Mm-hmm.
go for it. But be careful, and don't ever promise something that you can't or won't deliver on. If you're going to pay somebody $1,000, be sure that you have $1,000 to pay them.
Yeah.
You think if you're going to pay them $10, be sure you have that $10. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going to you know help them in some way, be sure you help them in some way. Whatever it is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
be sure you have whatever it is they need in return.
Yeah. Like we said in the last part, that if you're going to offer somebody money or some kind of service, you have to be able to put up or shut up.
Mm-hmm.
And with like something like the DSP store, like that's just a all around, like everyone was like wrong in some way, shape, or form of that one.
Yeah, I have some developer friends that don't know him, but they heard many rumors and stuff through the game development. The core when I the core game developers, and when I say the core game developers, I mean established people that have industry contacts. Maybe they're not established in, like, they've made a successful game, but they have successfully connected and networked with other people, kind of thing. Like, I would be one of those people, even though I haven't ever successful game. But like, game development is a small community. You won't believe how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
The number of people that are networked and everything together. So like, if one person is doing something, it's like a small town. It's
Yeah.
like a small town of, like, I don't know, like 1,000 people or something. And if one developer does something bad, you're probably going to hear it through rumors and whatnot, because nothing stays a
Mm-hmm.
secret,
Yep.
basically. And So if you don't pay your game developers, your people who are helping you develop your game, people are going to get worried about it.
Yeah. And this is
And
again why you need documentation. You need to protect yourself as well. Again, when we talk about stuff like contracts and rights ownership, that the reason why these contracts are important because it protects everyone involved. Just as somebody get in trouble for not getting paid, you can get in trouble if you do pay that person. They come back and say, "Hey, your game did better. Why don't I get 20,000 more? Why don't I get $20,000 extra? Your game did so well. You didn't pay me. You greedy developer or something like that."
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, this is always that very nasty part of when it comes to game development that a lot of people don't hear about or really want to discuss.
The business side of the industry is it's a harsh one, and it's one
Mm-hmm.
that if you don't do it right, you're gonna be in trouble.
It's going to come
I
back to bite you in a very big way.
Yeah, contracts are weird and the way you got to do them, and there's many different ways to do contracts. There's I would definitely never do a verbal contract, but you can technically do a simple contract, but it's going to be hard when it goes up into if it ever goes to court. But a simple contract of you know 2 or 3 sentences. I'm going to do this. You're going to do that. Agreed. That's not the best kind of contract. That is the lowest tier contract, but
Yep.
it does work in lots of levels.
It's better than nothing as well.
Yeah, yeah, and a vocal contract or anything like that is nothing.
Yep.
The only thing that is nothing is stuff that is in print. If it is not
Handshakes
print,
don't work either, people, as well.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
physical touch, vocal, none of that matters.
How about
Yeah,
taste? Does that help?
do what?
Taste, does that help at all? Does taste involve anything with contracts?
Only if it's colored.
Oh, okay.
You got to have the taste of color.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that I see like a lot. I guess here's like the final question, like, and then we'll wrap it up. But something I was curious about. I remember talking to like one of the guy who was like wanting to do the programming and he kind of failed on. Like before we even got a game going, he was already talking about should we file an LLC, should we file a copyright? Like we even had like anything down yet, and he was already talking about that kind of stuff. Is that kind of considered putting the cart before the horse?
Well, that's considered not knowing what they're doing. Is what that's considered really.
Yeah.
And yeah, that cart is way in front of the horse. I mean, you don't file the LLC until you got money because that costs a lot of money. I mean, that cost
Mm-hmm.
it'll cost probably about $2,000 to file it. Between setting up a business account, having
Mm-hmm.
a certain amount of money sitting in that business account, so that business account does not charge you
Mm-hmm.
$330 a month, forever, and put you into deep debt. Um, you have to file for the LLC. You have to get a accountant, preferably accountant, not a lawyer, to set that up for you. And you're probably looking at $2,000 right there, and then you're looking at $500 a year, depending on your state. In my state, in Tennessee, it's roughly $500 a year because you have to pay for a registered agent, and then you have to pay the which is $100 a year, and then you have to pay for the which they do basically nothing, and um, then you have to pay the yearly fee, which they have a minimum membership of like I think like 8 members, and it's like $50 a membership, so it's like $400 there. So $500 in Tennessee. Like there's other states that have like a minimum of one, but
Mm-hmm.
the in Tennessee, that's another rule is like all your LLCs are different in every single state.
Every state has its own rules. Oh yeah, that's another big point. That's we could turn this into a 4 hour. Let's talk about tax podcast as well.
Oh yeah, And that's another part of it is on that LLC, you'll if you people will, legitimate lawyers will tell you misinformation. So be very careful who you get information from on that, and make sure, especially if they're wanting money or going to get money from this kind of situation. So apply tons of grains of salt to anything they say.
And remember the magic word, research.
Yeah, and this stuff is complicated. I wouldn't even. I mean, you need to get some research for yourself, but research for yourself only goes so far, because unless you're a lawyer or accountant, you're probably not going to understand most of the stuff you're researching.
Yep.
But get a basic knowledge, and then talk to several different professionals, not just one, but several, and you'll figure out which ones are bullshitting and which ones aren't, because the ones that aren't will be saying the same things, and the ones that are going to be saying just things off the wall. Whatever it takes to get your money out of you.
Oh yes.
And one told me, and that as long as you're not making it, as long as the company has no sources of income, you don't have to file taxes. And that may be true in some states. I don't know, because I don't know all of the states. But in my state, in Tennessee, they have a $100 minimum filing charge. So even if you made no money, you still have to pay $100 a year for your LLC tax on top of the $500, the $400, and the $100. So that's $600 a month when you don't have anything. So this guy with talking about an LLC before you got anything, I mean, you're going to pay $2,000, and then you're going to be paying $600 plus a year for however many years it takes you to muddle through that mess and get a game. Not only that, but when you go to close your LLC, it costs money to close it. So if you went bankrupt or whatever, you still got to pay a bunch of money to the state. Even if you just don't have any money, you still have to put a bunch of money on the state. Another could be anywhere between $100 to $2,000 more, or even higher than that, depending on your particular state, your particular situation, and all this other stuff. So absolutely be sure that you get several different professionals help on that, and make sure that you deviate, the original, the legit stuff from the not legit stuff. So yeah, he wasn't even the cart in front of the horse. He was like I don't know, he was like the guy on a cart, and he was I don't know, in the year 2070, and carts haven't existed since like real carts haven't existed besides the Amish people and such and other countries, but carts hadn't existed since like the medieval ages, kind of thing, and we're only counting the medieval cart here. And horses were extinct 30 years ago, so he hadn't got he doesn't even know where the horse is. He doesn't even know that the horses aren't there, and he doesn't know that carts have ever existed, basically, before the horse.
I think the best way to sum this up, the actual business side of game development is hard. I think that's the easiest way to sum up this whole topic.
Oh yeah, and I know, despite all this stuff I'm telling you, I know very, very little about the business side of things. So keep that in mind. Like this is the knowledge I have is like so barely entry level kind of thing. So if you're going to get into this stuff, need to know more than I do to even
your research,
get
people.
A basic start.
Yeah. And one last thing, and this could actually be a topic for another time as well, but just because somebody is super successful doesn't always mean that they know all this stuff as well. because success can be as surprising as failure to a lot of these people, and you can succeed while still failing at the business side of things. It doesn't mean you're going to succeed forever, but it's very important to take lessons from the right people and, again, do your research when you're trying to learn this stuff.
Not to mention that the people who succeeded, they could just hired somebody else to do their business stuff for them.
Yep.
I mean, I intend on hiring an accountant to handle a lot of our business things. Keep things on the up and up. While I handle the business side of things in running the company, but I won't handle the business side of taxation, all the red tape, or anything like that. I'm going to deviate all that to an accountant that I'm going to hire. Although I technically have an accountant hired right now, but don't know if I'm going to keep her.
All right. Well, I think with that, I too have to get going, and for tonight, we're going to be doing a classic play of Sly Cooper. But I think we had a really good cast. I think more people came out for the more people watching. We were talking about the revenue share than we were talking about the YouTubers. So what does that mean? Like, the drier the topic, the more people who watch.
Maybe.
All right. Well, we gotta have that 10-hour podcast at some point then.
10 hours. I thought we were going 24 hours.
Well, we'll need at least Ron, me, and Tomo for that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But thank you again, Shark, for being my host. And for the people watching, again, what are the best ways they can find you?
Well, there's a Discord link down in the description, I think, anyway.
Yep, in the recorded version, there will be.
Okay, so in the recorded version of this, there will be a link to my Discord. And then there is my Twitter, which is Nexus Games LLC 1. And you can find me on there. And I will be posting some very good-looking art up there fairly soon. I don't know when that is. I have said fairly soon for the last, 2 months. But we are... I have the art now. I just don't know if I have enough to start posting it. But it will be coming soon. One way or another. Just don't know when that hashtag soon is.
Alright. You need some air quotes there, too.
Yeah. There was air quotes. You just couldn't see them. My shark fins didn't reach up high enough.
And of course, from you can follow me on Twitter at GWBicer. We have our Discord and Patreon linked down below, where we hang out and talk design topics and talk about how many games I can break on a daily basis. But we'll be back next Sunday around 3:34 p.m. EST for our live show, and tune in nightly for our regular game streams. But that's going to do it for now. So have a great night, everyone, and check out Game Wisdom for daily discussions on the art and design of video games. Until next time, take care.